At 79 years young and his 48th studio album, you have to wonder if Neil Young still has it in him. And on this episode, we're going to answer just that very question. Hi people and hello my Talkin conscripts, Chili here, the man who produces Iron for My Eyes, doing a 5-minute review on Neil Young's newest album with the Chrome Hearts, Talking to Trees. Neil Young has had an amazing life and is easily one of the most influential musicians of his era. It is amazing that he has remained as prolific a songwriter as he did since the beginning of his career. Now, as of late, the Neil Young fans have been given access to various albums from his archives as he starts to open up these past recordings, and some of which are great, but for most of the part, it's been just fine. While I stated that this was his 48th studio album, that number is somewhat incorrect as it does not incorporate the music that he has written for, say, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young or Buffalo Springfield. And this also marks his third release from this year alone, the other two being a bit of a vault collection with the songs of the Oceanside Countryside and his live album Coastal Soundtrack. But what makes this album different to the others is how it contains new material with a new backing band, the Chrome Hearts, a collection of musicians, most of which were members of the band Promise of the Real, who worked with Neil Young, of course, as fans might recall, for his records such as Paradox or The Visitor. So now we have laid the groundwork and understanding of the album, let's actually talk about the music on hand. And my first impressions of this record are that I was left rather impressed.
Who I love and I adore, and she'll smile for me.
From the onset of this album and its opening track, Family Life, we get this folksy acoustic guitar laden kind of Americana sound with some harmonica sections thrown in the fold that truly harkens back, of course, to his bygone era of music that some might say sounds like Harvest, but I'd say it's more like Comes a Time. We don't stay in this gear for long, however, and the next track, Dark Mirage, begins and kicks off the electric pulse on here with its slow waltz that feels like it's emerging from a fog-soaked swamp, only made more impactful with the inclusion of backing vocals from the band, who harmonise during the chorus in a deep baritone registry. We are only 2 songs in and already showing such variety with them. Neil also shows his inner hippie with the protest song Let's Roll Again, which almost comes across as a compromise to the current geopolitical situation in America and of course what they are going through. And it's really cleverly written. It's a basic rock and roll tune but talks about getting American manufacturers back up and running like good old times by building electric vehicles for them to drive. One of the greatest things about this song is that how it's going to, of course, attract many haters, but I'm sure it'll further enrage them by keeping a carrot on a stick situation, stating how far ahead of the curve the opposition is with China winning the race, both in reality and metaphorically, regarding how cars are pitted against each other, of course. I'm not exactly sure when it was exactly recorded, but it seems to nicely tie in with the calling out of Tesla at the moment and their current situation, stating that fascists can buy that brand. Now, regardless of your ideology or views on the subject matter, it is a great song in question and a highlight to me. There is the question of how the band performs with Neil, and I have to say that despite the fact that it's not Crazy Horse, they still have an element to them which perfectly complements Neil Young, of course. This is most likely due to the fact that they have worked with him in the past, but it can't be understated just how perfectly they fit in. They seem to cover all eras and styles of Neil's musical range on this short 37-minute long record. I think the only thing that they are missing that you would find with Crazy Horse are the parts where the band jams, or as the fans would say, unleash the horse.
Big change is coming.
About the closest they ever achieve on this album to doing so has to be the song Big Change, and it's all spelt in lowercase for some ironic reason, and this has a massively sprawling and huge guitar tone throughout its runtime. It definitely is a song that, when played live, could incorporate an extended jam or guitar solo within it, and has the potential to become a 10-minute long song piece. As it stands though, still a great tune. While most of the songs are great, there is one song on here, the closing track Thankful, that feels like a rehashed version of Harvest Moon, but considering that was a really good song to begin with, I'm not really complaining. Now, I am a big Neil Young fan and have been for many years, perhaps not as long as some of the viewers watching this video, but I always remain optimistic when it comes to his new music. I'd say that my trust has been well placed by this logic when approaching this album. Perhaps its incorporation of several musical elements has helped, but This sound also sounds like a breath of fresh air coming from an artist who feels like he's turning the corner as he sings about some highly relatable lyrics, at least from my perspective, on subject matters such as buying food from the farmers markets or lighting the first fire of winter, which feels close to home for me, mostly because we are now in our winter and have only just set our first fire since coming back. If Wazza is watching this, he would agree with this statement too. Yes, this is a great album by Neil, and in my opinion is one of his best or most memorable since Psychedelic Pill. Overall, I'm going to give this album a score of 9.5 million chilies on the spicy scale, with my favourite tracks being Big Change, Let's Roll Again and Family Life. I would disregard the haters of this album, as they are more than likely angry Joe Rogan fanboys or don't want to acknowledge anything past the Ditch trilogy. Instead, put this album on and have fun with it, because that's exactly what it is, a fun album. Anyway, as always, make sure you listen to this album for yourself, comment below with your thoughts, and as always, stay spicy out there. If you've enjoyed this content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to us, and stay notified for future music related content, because it keeps our manager happy at the end of the day. We are also on Discord, Instagram, Facebook, and all those other social platforms if you want to check us out. As always, people, you have a great day and stay spicy.